The Alabama Republican Senate race is headed for a runoff between Senator Luther Strange and Judge Roy Moore. President Trump has been tweeting about it. Here's what he said. Wow, Senator Strange picked up a lot of additional support since my endorsement. Now in a September runoff, strong on wall and crime. But President Trump is in the midst of a firestorm over Charlottesville, as we know. So come on in, Senator Luther Strange, Republican from Alabama. Senator, the president supported you. Will you now defend him and his comments on Charlottesville?
Well, you know, I do defend the president's statements condemning racism, condemning the horrible acts in Charlottesville. We all condemn those. I'd like to see the conversation move forward now to the things, Stuart, that people in Alabama are talking about, which is jobs and the economy. I mean, that's what we're going to be judged on, and I hate that we're involved in a distraction that keeps us from addressing these issues, because that's what I'm hearing on the ground every day here in Alabama. That's what we want to focus on.
Senator, in this environment, was the president's support for you a plus, as big a plus as he said it is, or what?
Oh, I think it's absolutely a plus, because the people here in Alabama and around the country, as you know, voted for a change in Washington. They want somebody to upset the apple cart there and get to things they care about, tax relief, something I care very much about, infrastructure. You know, the things that people voted for, and what's distressing to me is we're not talking about those things. And you mentioned it before, and I totally agree with you. We need some accomplishments. We need to get something done. I'm about as new to Washington as the president, and I'm sure he's frustrated.
You agree with us. We need a win, especially on tax cuts. But this furor over Charlottesville and the current political climate, and with so many Republicans walking away from the president and big business walking away from the president, you think that that might really interfere with getting tax cuts done this year? It certainly doesn't help, does it?
I don't think it helps at all, and I'm hoping we'll get back together, because really I don't hear on the ground here with the people that are working every day any talk about Charlottesville. They condemn the violence, and it's horrific, but they're really focused on when is Washington to get something done that affects my life, which is the jobs and the things, Stuart, that you talk about all the time. That's what we've got to get back to talking about.
Now, the president has been tweeting this morning about the monuments issue, so to speak. He said it's sad to see the history and culture of our great country being ripped apart with the removal of our beautiful statues and monuments. You can't change history. You can learn from it. Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, who's next? Washington, Jefferson, so foolish. Senator, where do you stand on the monuments issue as a Republican senator from Alabama?
Well, as a Republican from Alabama, I think I agree with the president. You can't erase history. We learn from history. That's what it's all about. We have a fabulous civil rights history here in Birmingham, where I am today. The monument is, there's a monument that was put up in 1905 that's now being covered up by our city government. I think that's unlawful, number one, but why would you try and erase history when you learn from it? Children should see that.
Some people would say it's offensive. I mean, there are people who would say, look, you see a picture of Robert E. Lee, or a statue rather, that's offensive. I mean, how do we accommodate that point of view?
Well, I think we accommodate it by, remember, we have a First Amendment right to do things. It just worries me, Stuart, that we start trying to erase history that we can learn from. Where does that end? Do we start taking away books that people find offensive? You know, it's just a path that seems very dangerous to me in this country.
Here's something that's got so many people worried, investors and voters alike. President Trump's top economic advisor, Gary Cohn, reportedly disgusted and frustrated with the president over these Charlottesville reports. Before we come back to you, Senator, I want to get more details on Gary Cohn from Ashley.
And we're actually highlighting him here. This was from Tuesday at that press conference, looking a little dismayed, wide-eyed. Apparently he was, according to one report, somewhere between appalled and furious, but we're told he wants to stay, part out of fear in the administration of this, part because tax reform is very important to him, and he's worried it would all be stalled permanently if he were to leave.
Senator Strange, quickly, your response to that.
Gary Cohn and his work on taxes, we've met before. We need leadership on taxes, so I hope they'll get any internal disagreements that they have going on there and get back again, Stuart, to the things that people are anxious to see addressed.
All right. Senator Luther Strange, thanks for joining us, as always, sir. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks again, Stuart. See you.
Yes, sir.